Okay, so recording now. And I just wanted to welcome everybody to today's Zoom meeting. Keith is kindly presenting today for us on some tips and tricks for increasing your online web presence, which is something that's very much needed in today's day and age. Keith is from the city of Hamilton. He's a business facilitator there and works with the Digital Main Streets group. I'm probably totally mispronouncing everything that you are doing, so I apologize if I'm giving you new hats. But Keith and I have worked together for a fair bit now, and I've been really impressed with his knowledge and his willingness to basically just help businesses where they need help. So I encourage you after today as well. I'm sure Keith won't mind if you reach out if you've got further questions. But also we are a small group, so do feel free to ask your questions today. As part of that, I'm hoping people may be comfortable to do a quick roundtable intro, maybe say where you're from, if there's something you're hoping to learn about today, what your business is, feel free to do a quick plug. That would be great. If people are okay with that, does anybody want to start?
Crickets.
One.
Sure, I'll start.
Thanks, Michael.
It's Mike Marini from the City of Hamilton. I'm the coordinator of marketing with economic development. I worked with Keith on a number of projects and looking forward to finding out some further tricks of the trade. So thanks, Keith, for giving us some of your time today.
Oh, thanks for being here, Mike.
I can go next. Hello?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So my name is Martina, and I have a studio on Barton and East Avenue, the workshop on Barton. And it is my personal photography studio, as well as more of a collaborative space where I host workshops and classes. And yeah, I guess I'm just trying to be, trying to do whatever I can and learn as much as I can during this time. And yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, great use of your time too. I think we're always learning, right? And it's a great time to learn more for sure. Yeah. Akiko or Sophie, would you guys want to say a few words, or you don't have to? Hi, Sophie.
I can go next. Hello. Sorry, I just had to do the old computer pick up and run to the next room. The joys of remote working with several people in the house. I'm Sophie. I work at McCallum Sather. We are over in the Westinghouse building, just off of Barton. So very exciting time for us, gosh, a year and a half ago when we moved in. So very sad not to be in the office at the moment. I work in the marketing and communications team. So this period has been interesting, to say the least, in terms of how we're communicating with a whole different host of stakeholders. For us, we are nearly, I think we're over 60 people now. So yeah, it's been an interesting internal and external communications experience. And yeah, I'm just really interested to get your kind of experience and just have a chat with people about what they're doing and what kind of advice you have for us during this time.
Sure. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Sophie. Akiko, would you want to say a few words? No pressure.
Hi, sure. Thanks so much for having me. My name is Akiko Takagi. I'm an HR and personal development consultant. I work, I guess, mostly with business owners and people managers, just helping them to sort of manage themselves, meaning sort of the negative thoughts, emotions, and habits that can come along and strike us as business owners. And then as well, from an HR perspective, just helping people to build and motivate their teams. And I'm just really here to learn and receive any tips and tricks that you are willing to share with us.
Awesome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you all. I really appreciate, I know it's not always the most comfortable thing to do, so thank you for sharing with us. That was great. Keith, is it okay if we pass it over to you?
Yeah. So I kind of put together a quick kind of slide deck today that I'd like to go through with you guys. Just looking at, you know, the basics on how to build an online presence or kind of improve the one you currently have. I tried to keep it really simple and kind of, you know, look at some quick wins that we could have. You know, anytime we're building an online presence, you know, it's always a long game, regardless of the channel, you know, you decide to choose to use. So I'm going to go ahead and try to share my screen here. Can everybody see this?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so the name of our short slide deck here is called Improving Your Digital Presence. And so again, my name is Keith Russell, and I'm a business development officer at the Hamilton Business Center, and I'm also a digital service squad member for the Digital Main Street Initiative. For those of you who don't know where the Hamilton Business Center is, we're located on the first floor of City Hall at 71 Main Street West, of course in Hamilton. And if you ever need to reach out to me for any assistance, feel free to use the email addresses that you see on the screen. I'll also make this slide deck available to Rachel so she can pass it around to you guys afterwards so you can refer back to it. But please, I encourage you as a business owner, if you need any help or assistance with anything related to digital marketing, website design, generally anything in the digital sphere, please feel free to reach out to me using the mail at Hamilton businesscenter.ca email address, or you can use the Digital Main Street at hamilton.ca email address. So don't worry about jotting this down. This will be made available to you, but just know that you can reach out at any point. So what is the Hamilton Business Center? If anyone hasn't utilized any of the services, again, we're located on the first floor of City Hall, and essentially we're your one-stop shop for business information, guidance, and professional advice on starting or running your business. We offer one-on-one consultations. We are now offering them online, and you can request a online consultation, you know, either online or via the phone by visiting our website, so hamiltonbusinesscenter.ca. And in the top menu, there's a tab that says online booking. So if you need to get a hold of me, you can also go that route as well. We also offer, again, free resources and business advice, business plan review and coaching, tons of seminars and workshops. So again, visit the hamiltonbusinesscenter.ca, and we have a whole calendar of free webinars that we're producing, as well as ones from a lot of our partners that cover the gauntlet of small business as well as digital marketing, okay? We also offer self-employment programs like the Summer Company Plus and the Starter Company Plus, as well as, of course, the Digital Main Street program. So what is Digital Main Street? For those of you that haven't heard of it, Digital Main Street is a program and a service built around an online learning platform that helps Main Street businesses across Ontario improve their digital literacy skills through training, mentorship, and one-on-one assistance provided by the Digital Service Squad members, like me. Digital Main Street was created by the Toronto Association of Business Improvement Area, TAPIA, with the direct support of the City of Toronto. And this program has been rolled out province-wide. So you'll essentially see a Digital Service Squad member in just about every community around Ontario. So today I just want to cover defining SMART goals, developing customer personas, and then we'll look at Google My Business, business citations, something that not a lot of people talk about, but is a great way to build your online presence quickly. Of course, social media, websites, e-commerce shops, and some other ways that we can build or improve our online presence. So what is a SMART goal? SMART goals are simply documented goals that allow us to clarify our ideas, focus our efforts, and use our time and resources productively, and increase our chances of actually reaching what we're setting out to accomplish. So what does SMART stand for? SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. And the words that they use to describe these specific parts of SMART goals will vary a little bit depending on where you're looking online, but they will always mean the same. So timely could, you know, some people might say time bound, but it's all the same idea. So to make sure your goals are clear and reachable, each one should be specific. So just simple, sensible, significant, measurable, meaningful, and motivating, achievable, so agreed and attainable, relevant, reasonable, realistic, and resourced or results-based, and timely, just time-based or time-limited. So there has to be a time associated with them. So when and why should you use SMART goals? So before starting to develop or improve your online presence, it's important to think about what you hope to achieve. Do you want to increase donations? Are you looking to grow an email list, increase website traffic, or simply sell your products or services? It could just be a general brand awareness, you know, campaign. But the idea is to have a desired outcome and know exactly what it is you're trying to achieve. SMART goals will drive your strategy and keep it on track. Okay, it's important to note that once you lay out the goals that you're hoping to achieve, it's important to refer back to them often and iterate, you know, as needed or as often as needed. So here's some quick examples of some SMART goals. Increase weekly Twitter shares by 20% in 1 month by using banner development tools to add a graphic to each social post. I'm sorry, the thing on the side here is just cutting off my, there we go. There we go. Acquire 3 referral clients to make sales contacts with them by calling or emailing current customers in 15 days. And increase demo requests by 10% in 8 weeks by creating a new product video and case study to serve as bottom of the funnel content. So as you can see, they all kind of include the every aspect of a SMART goal. So oops, let me just go back here. So all of those examples were specific. They were all measurable. They were achievable, at least, you know, in context to what the person's trying to achieve, and, you know, they know their business, so they'll know what's achievable for them. All those examples were relevant, and of course, they were time-based. Here's a little graphic that was put together courtesy of fitsmallbusiness.com that kind of just illustrates further what I just kind of discussed. The next thing you want to do before really diving into either trying to develop an online presence or increase it is to develop a customer persona. So what are customer personas? Customer personas are semi-fictional representations of your ideal customer. And why do I need them? Well, personas allow you to create tailored content and messaging that appeals to your target audience. It helps you better understand your customer's specific needs, behaviors, concerns, and pain points. So of course, anytime we're publishing anything online or trying to, you know, essentially build an online presence, it's really important to know who we're talking to and how we can tailor what we're creating, of course, to their concerns and their behaviors and their pain points. We want to address all these things so they'll want to engage with us as a business and our content. And how do you go about creating a customer persona, and what should it include? The best customer personas are based on market research and insight. So market research can be, you know, gathered from the customers that you're currently dealing with, surveys, interviews with those customers. Website analytics is another great resource. Social listening. So, you know, just paying attention to what your customers are saying within your social channels, as well as your competitors. If you're in the same business, your customers are probably experiencing this, have the same concerns or are trying to accomplish the same things. So that's, a great, little bit of intel there, essentially. Website forums. And of course, if you have a sales team that are, directly interacting with customers, they'll also be a great resource to kind of pick their brain about what your customers are looking for, and more info about them. Specifically, you'll want to collect things like their demographics, their income, their background, interests, goals, challenges, problems, behaviors, their shopping preferences, where are they hanging out online. You're going to want to try to collect as much of this information as possible when you put these things together. And this is just kind of a quick example of how you could kind of represent your customer persona. Of course, you may have more than one, and that's okay. But I would suggest at least starting out with one. It doesn't have to be as fancy as this. It can simply just be a Word document that you throw together. But the idea is that you document it and then you refer back to it as often as needed. And just keep all of the bits of information that you've collected about your customers in mind when you are developing a website, or you are producing content, and when you are putting out social posts. Does anybody have any questions about those couple of things that I just covered so far? No?
Nope.
Okay. So next I want to talk about Google My Business. So for those of you who don't know, Google My Business, or also referred to as GMB, is a free and easy tool to use for business and organizations to manage their online presence across Google, including local search and Google Maps. So if you verify and edit your business information, you can both help your customers find your business and tell them your story. Google My Business is considered a high authority business citation, and we'll talk about citations in a little bit, and a strong ranking signal to Google's local search algorithm about your business. Most people don't know, but Google uses multiple algorithms when they're determining what to return back to you in the search engine results pages. And I now say Google My Business is your homepage. Whether you like it or not, it's going to be your new homepage. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few slides from now. So why is Google My Business an important digital channel to be using? Well, it increases your visibility in the local SERPs, so search engine results pages. The map pack, so if you've ever done a search like, plumber Hamilton or plumber near me, you'll generally get the paid ads, and then just below the paid ads, you would get a map. And there's usually there's 3 businesses listed, and those are kind of the top 3 that Google has decided that best match your inquiry locally. And it also greatly increases your visibility on the Google Map app, which most people don't know is the 4th most popular smartphone app as of March 2019. Most importantly, you can reach people in buying mode at the exact moment they are searching for products and services like yours. So, generally businesses, when they have a website developed, one of the first things they want to do is they want to, try to, dive into SEO and optimize their page so they can be found in Google search results, which is super imperative. But often people overlook the local factor when the majority of businesses are serving, the local community or not far outside of it, and aren't necessarily worried about an international audience. So when people are searching for, pizza near me or whatever the products or service that they're looking for, if you don't have a Google My Business, you're definitely not going to show up in a local search result for the most part. So by having your Google My Business set up and optimized, people are, when people are going to Google, they're either looking for information on how to fix something or order something, they're looking for information, or they're looking to buy. That's kind of the intent behind Google, as opposed to using a search engine in a social media platform where you're generally looking for people or a business. You're not really there looking to buy anything. So you're kind of further down the funnel in terms of a buyer's journey when you're on Google. So being listed and being able to be found exactly when people are searching for services that you offer is really imperative. You get premium treatment in the search engine result pages. So again, going back to business owners that have websites that are struggling to learn SEO, or SEO is a long game. It can take months, if not years, to really get yourself into the search engine and become indexed, and of course beat some of the your competition out of the first and second pages. With Google My Business, if you optimize your listing properly, those are considered organic search results. They come just below the paid ads and above the organic ones. So your business can be on the first page of Google without really having to do any SEO at all, if you take the time to optimize your Google My Business listing appropriately. So that's one of the great benefits to it. It also provides customer insight. So once you are set up and verified, Google does a great job of, in the back end of Google My Business, in your actual admin profile, of telling you exactly how businesses are finding your listing. So which search queries are they using to find you, which is a gold mine right there. If you know what people are searching for to find you, then you can take that information and optimize your website and other pieces of content even further. And it gives you other information like how often they clicked for instructions on address instructions, as well as how many times they clicked on your phone number to call you. All of this information is just invaluable, as well as it allows you to interact with your customers and of course expand your presence. So what kind of information can be displayed on my Google My Business listing? Your NAP, which is your name, address, and phone number. It doesn't seem like a very sexy thing to talk about, but the NAP, the name, address, phone number, is the foundation of local SEO. You can include your website URL, your appointment booking URL if you're a service-based business, as well as a business description, your business products and services. You can get into quite detail of what you offer, customer reviews and FAQs. So we essentially do live in a review economy. A lot of people, the first thing they do when they decide they want to buy a product or have a service, they will go to either social media or Google or any of the platforms that they're interacting with, and they'll want to see what other people are saying about those businesses. You can direct message with customers. Again, this only applies to certain service type businesses that option is available. But if you're a plumber, again, it's an easy example, but if you're a plumber and someone Google's plumber near me or plumber Hamilton or some kind of other local modifier in their search query, and you happen to be the first person that comes up, and your Google My Business profile is on the right hand side in the browser, and there's a big blue button that says message, and they don't even have to go to your website anymore. That's why I say Google My Business is your new homepage. It's kind of like a mini app right there in Google. So if they can just message you directly right from there and get an immediate response back from you, giving them a quick quote or a way for you to contact them quickly, that's a really great option. You also have the ability to upload photos and videos, and of course use the post feature in Google My Business, which a lot of business owners don't take advantage of, but they should. There's a bunch of different style of posts. There's a what's new, there's an event post, an offer post, a products post, and a welcome offer post. And again, you can just treat this as like another social channel. There's not a lot of interaction back and forth, with the exception of the reviews, where you as the owner can reply to those reviews, which you should do, even if they're good reviews, not just the bad ones. But again, if a lot of businesses don't, or a lot of searchers don't even need to go to your homepage anymore. And there's studies showing that, you know, organic click-through rate on websites are going down every year because of services like Google My Business. And I put together some quick local statistics, local search statistics. So 46% of all Google searches are done by customers or consumers, sorry, looking for local information. 72% of consumers that did a local search visited a store within 8 kilometers. And 28% of local searches resulted in a purchase. And 93% of all local search results now feature Google My Business listings. And if you're not familiar with Google My Business, this is what it kind of looks like, at least on the mobile view. It will differ a little bit when you're looking at it on a traditional desktop. But again, it just kind of gives you an example of all the information that's not only available for your customers, but of course, available to you as the business owner. And again, this is just some screenshots of some of the analytics available to you as the business owner in the back end of Google My Business. So it's like a really simplified version of Google Analytics if you've ever used it. But again, this is the kind of information you're going to want to, you know, keep looking at and optimizing your listing based around, as well as you can take this information back to your regular website and you know, use it to improve on there. Next, I want to talk about business citations. I don't know why I get excited about citations, but it's one of those topics that's not discussed all that much. But for me, they're quick wins. So business citations are the backbone of any good local SEO strategy. So what is a business citation? A citation is just any mention of your business on the web, with or without a link. And it's a combination of your, again, NAP, name, address, and phone number. So think of them as the modern day Yellow Pages, but the Yellow Pages aren't the only source of information. So business listing or business listing directories can be blogs, magazine, newspaper sites, wikis, are all considered citation sources. So think of like the Yelps and the Yellow Pages. Those are all citations because you can list your business on them. Not all citations are created equally, meaning the individual sites like Yelp and Foursquare, they all have something what's called a domain authority associated with them. And really the internet is just a big popularity contest. And sites like Yelp and Foursquare and some of the other citation sites, they've been around for a long time. They provide a lot of information to people, and they have a high domain authority. So when Google sees links from those high domain authorities coming to your site, it's not only a vote of confidence, but it's a vote of confidence that's greater than some of the other kind of low authority sites. Do you know what I mean? Because the higher site, the citation sites with the higher authority kind of have more say, I guess you could say. But anyways, it's important too when you're considering looking at business citations that when you start to kind of get into them, that you're consistent, meaning it's really important that you know, if you list your business address in a certain format, for example, you know, spelling out the word street as opposed to the abbreviation of just ST, you really want to be consistent across all of your citations because it can confuse Google to which is the, you know, the right address. So why are citations important to my online presence? So again, citations are important for local search rankings as they verify that a business exists, it establishes trust, and creates prominence. Citations are the backbone of any good local SEO strategy and an important ranking signal in Google's local search algorithm. Again, it verifies the accuracy of your business and location. and you'll be one step away from your first page, from the first page of your organic local search engine results without any traditional SEO required. And I'm going to have a visual, like, explanation of this, so it kind of all makes sense. What are some of the other benefits to having business citations? So when searching for local businesses online, you may have noticed a lot of organic search engine results pages on the first page that are filled up by online directories. That's why numerous and relevant citations get your business details in front of potential and returning consumers looking for you or products and services that you offer. So just think about the last time you did a search for anything, product or service. You may not have noticed, but on the first page, there is generally 3 to 4 directories listed there. And those are opportunities for you to get on the first page without having to do really a whole lot of work besides, seeking out these citations and creating your free profiles and publishing them. Another benefit to being listed in some of these business citations is you gather more backlinks from authoritative and trusted sites, important to any kind of SEO. So probably the most important factor in any SEO campaign, or one of the most important signals to Google regarding SEO, is backlinks. So those are just simply links that are pointing back to your website from another business or a blog, or it can be any mention of your business, but it's a link back to your website. So again, a lot of these business citation sites have high authority. So by simply, creating a profile, you're then getting a backlink if it provides you the ability to insert a URL, which most of them do. It's also another great opportunity for third-party reviews, as well as most citation sites offer free listings. So that's always a bonus. So some examples of business citation sites. Again, Google My Business is probably one of the best citation sites you can have your business listed in. And then it's just, again, Yellow Pages, Yelp, TripAdvisor, Foursquare. If you're a chamber member, that's, you probably already, as a business owner, probably already have a lot of citations in place and just aren't aware of it. But you really want to build that profile as much as possible. Again, Facebook, Better Business Bureau, and most importantly, they should be relevant to your business. So if you're if you're a doctor or, in the medical field of any sort, there's probably niche industry directories and blogs specifically to what you do, and that probably applies to just about any profession. Those are the ones you really want to get listed in as well. So here's a quick example of a Google search for Plumber Hamilton. In complete transparency, I did edit out the paid ads at the top just to fit everything onto the page. But generally we get 10 blue links, and that's what you usually get back on in terms of local search engine results. And I can see with the big arrows, the first one being Kijiji. So all I did was search for Plumber Hamilton. Kijiji would be considered a citation, although it does lapse. I think that the ads last about 30 days, but the next one down is Yelp. So again, you could be on the first page, not in the traditional sense with your website appearing, but you really want to try to maximize your chances of appearing in the first page as much as possible. So in the second example down under Yelp, I've actually highlighted in yellow, because not only is Yelp coming up as a citation on the first page of Google when I typed in Plumber Hamilton, it's actually listing out some business names. So again, it's just a great opportunity with not a lot of work. Just below that is HomeStars, another great citation site. If you're in, the service of, building decks and building homes and renovations and plumbing and all that kind of stuff. And then at the very bottom was another citation site. So out of the 10 blue links that Google turned, the results came back to me for Plumber Hamilton, 4 of them were directories. So this is a great example of why you want to try to get your business listed in as many as possible. Does anybody have any questions about that?
Not a question, Keith, but I did just want to remind everybody, all of our businesses are listed on our website as well.
Okay.
And as you're talking, Keith, one idea that kind of came across my brain was we want to open up our website for our businesses to use as much as possible, especially for the citation piece. I think that makes good sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a blog page on our website. So if people are interested in writing blog posts for us, then that can be another avenue as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, just another great citation for them, as well as a link back to their website, right? So you really want to try to build up those links as much as possible, but the citations is just a really quick, easy win to build your online presence. And again, gets your business front and center on some of the, first and second pages of Google, which is normally relatively hard to attain with just, SEO. Again, like I said, it's a long game, and it takes a skill set to really, become proficient at it. So anything we can do to build our online presence quickly and easily, you should get on as much as possible. What is social media? I'm sure everybody's familiar with social media, but social media refers to websites and applications that are designed to allow people to share content quickly, efficiently, and directly, communicate with each other. With social media, the ability to share photos, opinions, reviews, events, etc. in real time has transformed the way we do business, essentially putting the consumer in control. Most are free to join, and again, are considered high authority citations. Another quick point to mention is sites like LinkedIn and Facebook, they are all indexable as well by Google. So if you don't have a traditional business or traditional website, if you create a Facebook business page, or you are operating and advertising and sharing content on LinkedIn, that will be returned back in search engine results pages. So just keep that in mind. So why is social media important to my business? Well, as of 2019, 3.2 billion people are using social media globally. And so regardless of the demographic you're targeting, there is a social platform that those people are engaging with. So regardless of the age, there is a platform. When potential customers are researching your brand, the first place they'll often look is social media because they want to see what kind of content you're publishing and what people are saying about you. So again, it comes back to the review economy. They're also a great way to research audiences with Facebook, with social listening. So Facebook groups and competitor pages. So if you're unsure of who you're talking to or should be talking to, if you're unsure what your consumers are looking for, or what kind of information they want to hear from you about, what are the problems they're facing, some of the things you want to try to accomplish for them, or at least lead them in the right direction. Joining a Facebook group around your niche specific product or service that you sell or offer, and you want to join these groups and obviously provide as much value by participating in the groups, but it can also be used as a research tool by just listening. People will tell you what they want, and then of course you can use this information and take it back to your business. Being on social media is a necessity in this day and age of business, and is a key tool for reaching and directly engaging with your intended audience. Social media is a great way to build your credibility and reputation, and of course showcase your brand. So how can I be successful using social media? The first step is being on the right platforms. You don't have to be on every platform. Choose the one that your customers are on and the one that best suits your strengths. So I am not overly great on video, but I'll do it. So it's really just knowing your strengths. It's important to be where your consumers are, but if you find out all your consumers are, on Instagram and they want to consume Instagram videos, if you're not comfortable with it, you either need to become comfortable with it, or choose the second best platform and knock it out of the park. Because if you're not comfortable doing what, what these platforms offer, then generally it's not going to come out very well. So again, just choose the right platform and the one that best suits your skill set. Use the built-in platform analytics. So all of these platforms have analytics built in, where you can get some basic information like how often are people engaging with your content, and what time they're engaging with your content. Maybe maybe the majority of the people that consume your content are like to be online late at night. If that's the case, I'd suggest posting late at night instead of during the day where no one's going to see it. All of these analytic platforms will tell you that basic information, as well as the type of content. If you look into your analytics and you see that most people are interacting with video content, does it make sense to keep pushing out written content? You still want to, but maybe you want to focus more on your video content. And you want to follow an 80-20 rule. 80% of the content that you post should be educational, fun, industry related, UGS, which is user generated content, inspiring, and 20% sales related. A lot of small businesses will make this mistake by using their social channels as just a way to push out sales ads and stuff like that. But realistically, if we only talked about ourselves and our businesses, you'd run out of things to say fast, and it would become boring for the end user. So just it's the intent behind social as opposed to search. When people come to social, they're not generally looking for a product or a service. They're looking to connect with people and businesses, but they're sometimes at the top of the funnel where they just want information and not necessarily they're ready to buy it. So it's okay to post sales related stuff, but just keep it to a minimum. Websites. So what is a website and why does my business need one? Well, websites are generally the pillar of any online presence and the hub of information about your business. It helps you share your story, letting the market know exactly who you are and what you have to offer. It allows you to provide valuable, relevant content, whether it's through a blog or just on the pages themselves. It can let you showcase your work, your products, or your services, and again, customer testimonials. Your website is usually the primary driving force behind your traditional SEO efforts, and having one improves your business credibility. So if you've ever wanted to purchase a product or service or do business with a particular business and you've tried to find any information about them and you can't find a website, at least in my perspective, it's a red flag. It doesn't mean they're not a reputable business, but it might make me think twice about doing business with them. What can a website do for my business? Well, it can act as a tool for sales generation, which again, it can be hard to do on social media. It's an efficient way to promote your business 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can collect valuable information about your customers, their buying preferences, their buying habits, their buyer's journey. All of this is available through Google Analytics. And if you do have a website currently and you don't have Google Analytics set up, I would suggest doing that. And again, I can help you with that. It's not retroactive, so you can't necessarily go back and see the people that have visited. It would just be from the point of it being hooked up moving forward. But again, referring back to it, just, getting a glimpse of your top pages. So what pages are people interacting with the most on your website can then, be a little bit of a valuable insight to what kind of content you should continue to produce, as well as it can tell you the pages that people are bouncing from immediately. And so then you can either, improve on those pages or just get rid of them altogether. You can target consumers based on search history and preferences. So, for those of you that aren't familiar with retargeting, if you've, ever been looking at a product or a service online and then or somewhere else online or on a social platform, and then you saw a banner for it appear, It can seem creepy, but that's retargeting. And that's just a hyper-focused way of selling to people based on them visiting your website. And there's different ways to go about that. There's different platforms. The easiest one would be to set up a a Facebook pixel. So when consumers or potential consumers are on your website, and then they come back to Facebook, you can target ads at them specifically on, what products they were looking at or what pages they were looking at on your website. And if your competitor has a website, you should probably have one as well. So I'm not a techie. Can I build one myself? Absolutely. So web-based platforms like Squarespace, Wix, Weebly, WordPress, and Bookmark. Most people are probably familiar with most of these. They make the process incredibly easy, even for the novice. Most web-based platforms consist of a drag and drop editor or are template-based in some fashion. So absolutely no coding involved unless you want to. And again, these platforms also usually take care of, the web hosting, as well as, your email, your marketing, your analytics, and your domain name, where if you're setting up a traditional website where everything was independent, you would have to manage those. And it can become overwhelming to kind of to keep an eye on everything, as well as know how to manage everything. So what is the easiest platforms to use? All of the platforms I just mentioned are, in my opinion, fairly user-friendly. Bookmark.com, which probably a lot of people don't know about, in my opinion, is the easiest to learn, and it has an abundance of online tutorials and assistance available. They all do. Bookmark in particular is driven by a artificial intelligent design assistant they called Ada, and essentially you can sign up for free to give it a shot. I think for 14 days, and you simply just walk through a series of questions, and the AI, artificial intelligent design assistant, essentially with the answers you give back to it, will create a website on behalf of you, and it's really hands off. You don't have to do anything, and it's incredible that the results are fabulous, and of course they're fully editable afterwards. So if there's blocks of sections you want to change around, you can completely do all that. But it's just a really cool approach to building a website. And what it means is it's completely hands off, again, unless you want to edit it afterwards. And it also walks you through the process of optimizing your site's SEO. So this is just a quick screenshot for those of you that might not be familiar with a lot of these platforms. The box in the top right that says search content blocks. This is what most of these platforms look like. And the individual things inside of that square where it says text and markdown and quotes, those are widgets. And you would literally just click on those and drag them out into the page. And and then each one of those widgets would have parameters and things that you can change about it. But it's really that easy. It's just drag and drop for the majority of them. E-commerce. So what is an e-commerce shop and why do I need one? So e-commerce shops will offer a lot of the same benefits as a traditional website. Many businesses don't have separate ones. E-commerce websites can have static pages, meaning they don't have products on them. And it's the exact same thing as a regular website. Again, they're the pillar of any online presence and the hub of information about your business. Again, they can provide valuable, relevant content, showcase not only the products you're selling, but your work or the product or service that you offer. Again, they can be the driving force behind your SEO efforts. And again, it can improve your business credibility. They also allow you to sell your products 24/7, attract new customers with search, provide shopping convenience, reduce your payroll, increase brand awareness, and learn more about your customers, again, through the data collected. Again, I'm not a techie. Can I build one myself? Shop creation is not as hard as it used to be. Again, just like the other platforms I just mentioned, like traditional website like Shopify and Squarespace. BigCommerce is a new one I added in there. Most of these platforms offer an e-commerce option. So if you already have a website with Wix or Squarespace, generally if you up your plan, you can convert them to e-commerce stores. And really that's just adding on the functionality of being able to add products and having a shopping cart. Again, these platforms are all, for the most part, drag and drop. They have a drag and drop editor, or they're template based with no coding involved, of course, unless you want to get in there and modify some stuff. And again, all these platforms will manage stuff like your email, your payment processing, which you'll have to set up generally through someone like PayPal or Stripe. But again, lots of times the platforms have this all integrated, so you're not having to create different profiles and different platforms and link them all together. And I think that's really where the big benefits to using something like a Shopify or a Squarespace, really is a big benefit. So which platform should I choose to build my shop on? Of course, it all comes down to personal preference, and maybe you already are using one of these platforms. They're all relatively easy to use and consist of adding your products and connecting a payment processor like Stripe. Shopify, in my opinion, is one of the most popular choices. It has really, really great support and just an overabundance of online learning resources. They have quite a comprehensible YouTube channel with videos that walk you through everything you can imagine when it comes to setting up a store, as well as their tech support is really good and their online documents is phenomenal. They're also offering an extended free 90-day trial, and they've integrated a few things with the ability to sell gift cards as well as offer curbside pickup. So some of the things business owners will want to take advantage of right now. This is a quick screenshot of the Shopify interface. I just really wanted to show people how user-friendly it is and how easy it is, and it's nothing to be afraid of. It literally just looks like a Word document for the most part. You insert your title, so whatever the product name is, you would upload a picture at the bottom there, and in the description you would simply just add the description of your product. You've got all the same similar types of formatting options that you would in any word processing software. So quickly, some other ways that we can build an online presence. So build an email list. It's super cost effective. You own it. So we utilize all these social platforms and they're all wonderful, but who knows how long they will be around. So if you build up a wonderful following and that platform goes away, at some point you've lost all of your followers and all of your contacts. So I'm not saying that will happen, but it is a possibility. So building up an email list is invaluable. It can never go away. You physically own it. And you're getting, it's direct to inbox. You're getting directly to the consumers you're trying to market to. It's a bit more personal for them because generally they would have had to given you permission to email them. So they're more apt to open it. You want to learn SEO. You don't need to be a guru at it, but you need to learn the basics of link building and the basics of keyword research. The foundation of search is content, links, and keywords. So, we can spend a lot of time producing wonderful blog posts and content that we're pushing out to our followers. But if it's not discoverable in any fashion by Google, it's really not going to go anywhere. We also want to analyze our results and our data. So again, just simply going back to the built-in analytics in a lot of the social platforms as well as our websites, and just always kind of keeping tabs on, again, what are people looking at on our website the most or in our social platforms? What kind of content do they want to interact with? Again, can just steer us in the right direction to what we should continue, what we should do moving forward. And don't necessarily, well, going on to the next one is produce content. Content is king. A lot of people have a hard time. They're nervous about putting stuff out. They don't know if people are going to like it or if it's good enough to put out. The thing is that nobody knows what's good, especially when it comes to our consumers. The only really way to discover what is good is just to put a lot of stuff out there. And our consumers will tell us what is good. We'll be able to see it in our analytics. And so by just pushing out as much as possible, that's the easiest way to figure out what's good and what you should, put out moving forward. Experiment with PPC advertising, so pay-per-click. So that traditionally refers to, Google AdWords. That could include, paid advertising in Facebook, as well as Instagram and Twitter. All of those channels have a paid-per-click advertising. Right now, there's an unprecedented amount of people on social media and online, period, which means it kind of drove out a lot of the smaller businesses that were kind of, all of these pay-per-click, advertising platforms kind of work on an auction. You don't see it. It's happening in real time and within like milliseconds. Everybody's vying for the 1, 2, and 3 position based on how much money they're willing to put out to be shown at that exact moment. At least that's how it works on Google AdWords. So because a lot of small businesses have kind of, dropped a lot of their marketing budgets or have pulled away a little bit, it's really decrease the cost of pay-per-click advertising. So it's not a bad idea to start experimenting with it. And again, you don't need to spend a lot. I always suggest, $50 to $100, whatever you can budget, just to kind of get an idea of the keywords people are going to be responding to in respect to Google AdWords, as well as we're thinking about, if we're looking at Facebook ads and Instagram ads, you don't want to go all in. You want to, create a few posts or create a few ads, see what people are interacting with the most and what's getting the best response and engagement, and then iterate from there. So, go slow, figure out what's working, and then you can start to up your budgets. And of course, last but not least, just show up where your audience is. So again, that comes back to developing your customer personas, figuring out where they're hanging out online, and just being in those places and trying to interact with them. So that's all I have for my presentation. Do you want to take it back, Rachel?
Sure, thank you. That was really informative. We're just going to open the floor for questions. If anyone has any questions.
Sorry, I felt like I talked on forever there.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was really informative. I had a question regarding citations.
Yes.
And you mentioned that having the NAP, the name, address, phone number, is beneficial. Mm-hmm. So what I do is communication, so trying to get publications to feature our news and also feature our name. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they wouldn't then feature your address and phone number. Is that deemed to be less important than a NAP being included in terms of how Google ranks?
Yeah, so if you're going to be featured in those blog posts and they're going to link back to you, that's still great. That backlinks again is one of the contributing factors of SEO is backlinks, if not the most important factor. You can even go one step further, is if you have control over the actual anchor text, so the actual words that have the link associated with it. So on the blog that says, instead of just click here or read more, if you have control over the text that they're using on their website to link back to you, you want to try to include, to really optimize it, use the keyword that you're targeting on that page. So if the page is, if the blog post you've written is about something, if it's about, let's say, your product or service. And sorry, is the blog post, are you publishing something as like a guest blog poster, or are they just writing something about you?
I'm talking more kind of like in terms of press. So say the Globe and Mail or the Hamilton Spectator featured an article on you, included your company name as opposed to a keyword. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to really determine what they wrote.
Yes, yeah.
But say they include your company name, but they don't link to it, which is always a challenge.
Yeah.
Should I be making the effort to, like, more of an effort, I guess, to get in contact with them to say, is there any chance you can link through to our site?
Yes, I definitely would. If you have the contact and you know, that is a great opportunity. Link building is considered off-site SEO because you don't directly have control over it. And it can be a challenge because the majority of it is outreach. So if you have people already that are wanting to write and reference your business, especially someone like the Globe and Mail, where without knowing offhand, it's the website and the company's going to have a really high domain authority. Yeah, I would be getting a hold of them and saying, you know, if possible, can you include a link back to my website? They don't necessarily have to list your NAP. The NAP really only just applies to business citations. Again, Google uses multiple algorithms to rank your business, and so local SEO is entity based, and that's really why the NAP is important, because it's the strongest indicator that you are a legit business, you are where you say you are. But in your question, if you can get them to include a link back to your website, awesome. And if you can get them to use the exact words you want them to use, pointing back to your website, even better. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's always a challenge.
Yeah. Offsite SEO is probably the most important thing for a business owner. I mean, on-site SEO just means optimizing, you know, the keywords that you're trying to target on your page, as well as your title tags and your meta descriptions and your page titles. But, you know, again, the most important contributing factor to traditional SEO is link building. And it's a challenge because it's building relationships with people, really. And that's why I mentioned the citations, because it is a quick win. And again, a lot of businesses put a lot of time and effort into SEO, which you should. But if you're a business that's serving primarily the local community, it makes a lot of sense to put most of your eggs in that basket. Not to say that you shouldn't be doing other things, but, you know, I would focus on having the people in the community that you're servicing know about you first, than you know, around the world.
I just had one more question. Out of all of the things that you have discussed today, what is the number one thing that you should be getting, like your foundation 100%
Google,
sort of?
yeah, Google My Business. Google My Business. So Google is, you know, Google is in the business of making money, just like every other business. And I think it's a ridiculous statistic, like 98% of their revenue comes from ads, right? So that's why, so if think about this, the last time anybody's done a search on Google, for instance, my kids wanted to go to the movies, you know, before the COVID thing. And I Googled what they wanted to go see. I just Googled, it was like Frozen 2 or something. And I didn't have to go into Cineplex Odeon. The Google told me right there in one of the knowledge graphs, you know, like the little thing at the top that, you know, has your result in it without having to click into the Cineplex Odeon website. Same with if you go to Google right now and you type in what's the weather in Hamilton, you don't have to go to the Weather Network's website anymore. And those are called no-click searches. And those are where people are finding what they're looking for without ever having to go into anyone's website. And that's actually a scary thing, because if your website is now, you know, if people aren't needing to actually click on your website to find the information, you know, there's other channels that you should now start, you know, focusing your attention on. And Google has really put a huge emphasis on Google My Business. Again, kind of going back to what I was talking about, Google My Business search results appear above organic search results and just below paid ads. So you know, if you've got a ginormous, this might seem silly, but if you've got a ginormous 28-inch screen, it might not seem like a big deal because you're seeing a lot of information on the screen. But we know about 50 to 60% of people that are, you know, searching on the internet are using a mobile device. If all of a sudden you're looking for a business and you've got paid search results, and then you've got the Google My Business, and then you've got the organic listings, that could be like 3 to 5 full scrolls down a page to even find an organic result, when you could be listed right there on the, you know, right at the top in the Google My Business. So Google is trying to keep people in their environment as much as possible, because the longer you're in their environment, the more apt you are to click on an ad, which means they make more money, which is why they're dumping so much money and time and effort into Google My Business. So that's why I say it's your new homepage. Obviously, your website is still super important. You still want to, you know, you still want to be doing everything that you should be doing on it, like, you know, keyword research and, you know, continually optimizing it. But Google My Business is the way to go. And people just got to get out of the mindset that it's not just a yellow pages listing, right? That's how a lot of people look at it, where it is a fully thriving, interactive experience right within Google. And people are probably going to see it before they see your website. So.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Were there any other questions or?
I had a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the Google, like say if I don't want to add my phone number or I don't really want to post certain things, is Google going to like me less or more depending on how much information I share?
Yeah, it's a good point. Like whenever you guys have a moment, if you go to the Hamilton Business Center .ca website, there's a news section on the top right-hand corner. I wrote a whole blog post on how to optimize your Google My Business listing. It's really kind of, it's going to be spread out over, there's 2 posts there. One covers the basics of how to optimize your listing. And then I go into, there's a second blog post on how to optimize your photos for local search. But kind of getting back to what you said, yes and no. You really want to maximize every bit of space that you have there. If you don't include a phone number, is it because you don't want people, like, is it because you don't use, how do people primarily get a hold of you, I guess is the question.
The funny thing is, well, before this conversation, my primary focus was Instagram. Okay. That's obviously not the be all end all. So I'm just worried because I'm used to like my friends calling me. I'm going to pick up the phone like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
And then just like a customer. And I'm okay.
Well, you know, some of the phones allow you a separate ringtone depending on, so I would do maybe your friends, everybody in your contact list, and then anything else, at least there's an indication. And hey, Instagram is not, again, I mentioned all of these things today, but if you know that all of your business comes from Instagram and that's where your customers are, then you're already ahead of the game. It's just knowing where the people that you interact with are and sticking with it. I see a lot of business owners try to spread themselves super thin and get on every social channel in the world, but it looks even worse if you're not on them and doing anything with them. So, and again, you know, do you really want to watch a video of a guy fumbling through it for a half hour when, you know, he could have probably did way better just writing a blog post? So again, it's whatever you're comfortable with and what do you do best with. But yeah, if you don't want to include your phone number, then don't. You know, make sure there's a way for them to contact you though. But, you know, try setting up a separate ringtone or something. In Google My Business, you can also opt to not have your business address listed. So if you're a service-based business and like a plumber or somebody that goes out to other businesses, and, you know, a lot of those guys will work out of their home and they just simply don't want their home address published. You can do that. That's an option. I don't recommend it. I mean, Google is looking for that. Again, the basis of local search comes down to that NAP, name, address, phone number. It seems really simple, but Google wants to see that NAP. You know, there's no golden number, but when I talked about citations, I would aim for like 20 to 25 citations that you try to, you know, become listed on. And that's a good starting point, but yeah.
My other question is because the previous tenant of my unit, I had asked her to remove her business off Google My Business.
Yes.
He hasn't. So now when I Google my address, her business is still under that address, is that going to be a problem?
Sorry, say that again.
So sorry, so I moved in January,
Mm-hmm.
and the girl who had a woodworking space there, her business is still listed.
Oh, okay, so you guys have the same address, but just different business names?
Yes.
Okay. And you created your own profile?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that can be tricky. Like I'm working through that right now with another business in another BIA where somebody at some point had claimed their business for them, and obviously it's not them, and they don't have control over it, and they're not necessarily worried about somebody posting anything, but they just want to be able to post stuff themselves. So we're just kind of working through the best way to get a hold of Google right now, and that's going to be what you have to do probably. Yeah. Is reach out to Google My Business support. Yeah. I have heard through other resources that the easiest and quickest way is to reach out to them on Twitter. So I would go on Twitter and search out their hashtag. It's probably Google My Business or Google My Biz, and shoot them a tweet and ask them if they can help you with that process. It should be fairly straightforward. I was just on a call earlier before this webinar, and we did have a Google marketing expert from Toronto, and he was taking a lot of our concerns about Google My Business. Just that things are obviously with COVID, they're stretched for staff as well, and so everything is taking a little bit longer. If you're a new business trying to get a listing verified, it's taking weeks. So they're looking at ways to make people like me be able to verify businesses on behalf of Google and make those types of changes that you're talking about. So when I hear a little bit more about that from them, I can push that information to Rachel, and maybe she can share it with everybody. Because right now everybody's at a standstill, but I would still reach out to them on Twitter and see if it's something they can help you with quickly.
I just also wanted to comment on backlinks. I had a blog for 5 years, and I didn't really do my research on SEO. I had no idea what I was doing. But at some point, so it was a blog about secondhand and like going to thrift stores, that kind of thing. And then I somehow ended up interacting with about 25 other bloggers who all talked about thrift shopping. And then once a week we did like a thrift Thursday where we each shared each other's links.
Yep.
And within like 3 months, I was the top. If you Googled thrifty blog, I was the #1, if you searched it anywhere in the world for 2 years because of that weekly link stuff that we did. And it was just crazy. You just reminded me of it. Sorry.
Yeah, no, there's a ton of great tactics you can use to build links. Some of them you have to watch out for. Google is really, really smart. It's kind of creepy. If they see there's back in the day, people used to set up websites where it was basically just links. Google will they'll see that kind of stuff. They're monitoring what looks abnormal and normal to them in terms of traffic and links coming in. But I don't think what you're doing is a bad thing. I belong to a lot of Facebook groups, and I see the same thing going on with a lot of local businesses. You can also use roundup posts. Those are another great thing if you're a blogger. Just roundup posts, essentially the same idea of what you're doing. And it's, whether you're rounding up the best 10 products in your niche, and you can purposely choose the websites you want to list and the products you want to list. Again, those are great ways to share people's links. Be cognizant that some links are no follow and some are follow. So if in your respect, when you're dealing with other local businesses or people they probably don't know that they can set their links to no follow, which is just an attribute that means it doesn't really pass on any SEO juice, essentially. So Sophie, you might want to ask the Globe and Mail, is that link that you're providing to my business, is it a follow or no follow? Does it have one of those attributes? If it has a no follow attached to it, it doesn't really mean as much, right? Google doesn't look at it as something, it doesn't look at it as a vote of confidence. If it's got a follow attribute associated with it, then you're good to go. And it might be worthwhile to ask them. You might surprise them. because they're probably not going to tell you whether it is or not. They're just going to, push out the link and that'll be that.
This is super impressed with my knowledge.
Well, yeah. And it kind of puts them on the spot. So anyways.
That's awesome.
Anything else? That's it?
No, that was it. That was great.
Okay, well, quickly before I let you guys go, Digital Main Street, for those of you that don't know, offers a ton of tools and resources, me being the main resource, so you guys can always reach out to me. Like I said, I'll provide this slideshow to Rachel, and she can email it out, so my contact information will be there. But also, if you visit the Digital Main Street website, which is just digitalmainstreet.ca, you can sign up for free. There's no strings attached. No one's gonna harass you by emailing you a million times. Join the platform. And what happens is when you join the platform, there's a digital assessment, and it's really just kind of a, maybe 10 questions or so that the platform asks you about your business and your marketing. And what it's going to do is it's going to just quickly analyze where it thinks it sees some opportunities, not faults, but opportunities. And then it's going to tell you what those opportunities are and explain those opportunities in more detail, and provide you some external resources to learn more about those opportunities. And it's kind of just a great way to kind of, figure out where your business is and where you might be missing out on some really easy things. But the most valuable piece of information on the website is their digital transformation course. So it's an 8-hour video course that costs absolutely nothing. And it really is really valuable and well done content that covers everything from Google My Business. Again, it covers all the best practices and how to implement these things. But Google My Business, email marketing, content marketing, really it covers the whole gauntlet of digital marketing. And it's available 24/7, and you can just kind of consume that at your own pace. So I'd recommend, signing up and just, picking at it as you see fit. It really is a wealth of information.
They also have a ton of webinars coming up. So does the Hamilton Small Business Center. But they've got one on Tuesday the 28th, Small Business Data, Privacy and the Law. So there's some good ones to watch. You can kind of go through their list and pick and choose which one meets your needs, and watch them. Same with the Hamilton Small Business Center. They have some great webinars coming up. And do you still have the call in with a where you can call and chat with an expert? Sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All of Digital Main Street's, at least up until the end of April to the beginning of May, all of their webinars, I've listed them in our calendar of events on the Hamilton Business, just so people didn't have to bounce around to a bunch of different sites. So by all means, you could go to Digital Main Street and look at their list, or you can just visit our site. And, because they're our partners, we'll be sure to include all of the webinars, as well as, there's other, business centers around Ontario that, we're talking with, and we're kind of sharing resources because everybody's in the same boat here. So whenever there's a great opportunity for business owners to participate in some of those webinars that you wouldn't necessarily be aware of, for instance, Waterloo or Ottawa or wherever it is, if it happens to be relevant and we think you're gonna see some real benefit out of it, we're going to put it up on our website so you know about it. But yes, we're still doing access to professionals. So it used to be a 60-minute one-on-one with a lawyer or an accountant for a very nominal fee. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was $45. Yeah. And we obviously wanted to vet the people coming in ahead of time because, we weren't going to answer questions about like a divorce or something, right? So it had to be relevant to your business. But yes, so that's still happening. If you go to, again, hamiltonbusinesscenter.ca, and you click on the online booking section, you can request a 60-minute one-on-one. Again, we've got a lawyer, I believe, from Simpson & Wiggle, and there is an accountant as well. I don't really have a lot of knowledge on it right now because we're still trying to work out the logistics of we've had a few sessions already and they've online that have went wonderfully. And they were more of like a group question because it's hard to, obviously these professionals are really busy in their, their day-to-day jobs. So, getting them aside for an hour is awesome. But it's hard when it's just one-on-one all the time. But I think that is going to be available in the future, but we are doing kind of the group sessions. So just kind of keep an eye out on our calendar of events on the Hamilton Business Center website, as well as our socials. I'm trying to push out as much information as possible, as often as possible. And so when we do have some more definitive dates kind of set up for the access to professionals, if it's something you want to take advantage of, I would suggest. And I believe the online portions are going to be free.
Awesome. Lots of resources to keep everyone busy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love it. Awesome. Well, I think that was really informative. So thank you so much, Keith, for all your time and work that you've put into today. We really appreciate it.
No, wonderful.
It's definitely something we're going to be sharing with our members and through probably social media as a link as well. So if just a quick, slightly off topic one, if there are topics of webinars or anything like that that people would find helpful, please let me know. And then we can reach out to those experts and have them on. We can do it as a Q&A. We can do it as a presentation format. So we want to be here to support you. So let us know what you need and we'll try and make that work.
Yeah, real quickly, if you don't mind, I got to do one more plug, Rachel.
Yeah. Go for it.
On the Hamilton Business website, again, in our news section, there is a post that we put together almost immediately when we were kind of all sent home and had to work from home. And it's resources for small business to take advantage of during COVID-19. I think I'm up to about 50 or 60 links on there now, where just in, people that have been passing me on resources or just things that I'm stumbling and finding upon myself. If some of the things I talked about today, obviously we couldn't get too in depth with a lot of the topics, but there are tons and tons of really big organizations out there that are giving away courses that used to cost $500. For example, Moz.com, probably the leader and kind of the godfathers of SEO. They have a course on, keyword research and SEO basics, usually go for $497. Some of them individually are like $197. Too expensive for me. They're now free. So take a look at that blog post and go through it. If there's, particular things like Sophia, if you wanted to learn more about backlinks and ways to build backlinks and just anything associated with that. SEMrush, one of the, the leading providers in SEO tools, is offering a bunch of free courses on local SEO that goes even more in depth to what I just covered with respect to citations and local link building. So take advantage of all of those. Go ahead.
You could share that link around to us.
Yeah.
Rachel, if that's easier.
Yeah, you know what? I'll send it to Rachel.
Perfect. And then we can
Either
share
that, or if you pop it in the chat now.
Oh, okay. Hang on a sec here.
If you've got it handy.
You know what? Do you have your web browser open?
Yep.
Can just go to I would Google SEMrush Academy. And if you find the SEMrush Academy, it'll list out all of the free courses they're offering. I think it's with a gentleman named Greg Gifford. And there's one on keyword research, there's one on link building, there's one on local SEO. I did the local SEO one. The great thing is they're like an hour long. And it's just a fabulous resource. And the way that he conveys his messages are just really great, really easy to absorb. And they go into just enough detail where the average person will know what they're talking about, you know what I mean? But deep enough that you're really getting some valuable insight there. So I suggest checking those ones out for sure.
Great, thank you.
Okay. But I'll shoot, sorry, this is my kid's computer. I have no idea what they're looking at in the search history, so I'm not opening up my search browser. But I'll definitely pass on all that info to Rachel, and then you guys can take a look at all of the links that I've kind of accumulated up until this point.
Perfect. Yeah, and we can definitely make note of that in our next newsletter so that it's easy to find. We also have a website that, or web page that we've created on our site that links all the COVID supports and resources that are out there. So lots of links to webinars, resources, funding, government supports, that kind of stuff. But I think we have another section on there that's for online. We will add the link to your blog post, I think, on there, if that's okay, Keith. That would be great.
No, absolutely. Share it to anybody and everybody. Definitely.
Perfect. Well, thank you all for your time today. I personally enjoyed it, so I hope you guys did too.
Awesome. Thanks for showing up, guys.